While Hokule'a circumnavigates the world to share and learn about Malama Honua, conservationists from near and far gathered in Hawaii to discuss this very concept of caring for island Earth at the World Conservation Congress, hosted by the International Union for the Conservation of Nature.
The voyage that is going on right now, that Nainoa Thompson and other master navigators are leading, is very, very critical to the whole message around conservation, around the imperative of protecting the Earth. And so when you voyage around by the stars, bearing witness, engaging communities, how important is that to get the message out? That, as Nainoa says, the sail plan has to change. We have to draw a new map, and that map has to be one of understanding, one of protection, one of conservation, one of peace, one of non-conflict, and one of brother and sisterhood. That's the story of the Voyagers, and it's very much the story of the IUCN Conservation Congress as well.
Prior to the official opening ceremony, dignitaries from across the Pacific gathered for the Moana Pacifica Waka arrival ceremony, where our Pacific cousins presented a piece of their home to the people of Hawaii.
This morning we had a wonderful, wonderful ceremony. We had Governor Ige and the people of Hawaii welcoming our Pacific leaders in a beautiful ceremony, with one waka coming in to land, with the Pacific Islanders asking permission to come here, and with Hawaiian traditional culture and traditional ceremony granting permission. Why does this matter? It matters because at IUCN, the International Union for Conservation of Nature, we are bringing the World Congress, the IUCN World Congress, to Hawaii to bear witness and to take action on environmental issues. And the oceans are critical.
What you're seeing here in the sands of Hawaii is the change in conversation, that no longer can the power of conservation just talk to itself. It has to marry with indigenous knowledge, with indigenous people. So the reason why it's so important that the Pacific leaders here is because if you want to protect the Earth, if you want to protect biodiversity, you want to protect wildlife, if you want to try to have some way to adapt to climate change, you got to protect the oceans. It's prerequisite to all of those things. You can't do it without protecting the oceans. Who better to do that than Pacific Islanders? Because they know. They know their ancestry, they know their genealogy, they know their history and tenure, and they see change. They know something's terribly wrong, and they have such an enormous set of responsibilities of protecting the Earth by protecting the oceans around them.
For your islands are my islands, and my islands are your islands.
The conversation continued at the Pacific Ocean Summit, where leaders discussed unique challenges they're facing in their island homes.
Rather than just concentrate on what's happening in Europe and Asia and all these other countries, we really needed the Pacific Island leaders to come together and talk about solutions for ourselves, rather than get swallowed up in the bigger picture of IUCN and the Conservation Congress. So Pacific Island Summit is all about us and what we're going to do to make things better for ourselves.
We need a shift. We all know we need a shift. And then we need to bring everybody else on board. And the leadership is in this room to start a movement that can change the course of oceans. And as we know, we can't fix this planet if we don't deal with the biggest ocean in the world and oceans overall.
The people here at IUCN are from all throughout Europe and the Asias and the Americas. And for a lot of them, they've never experienced a Pacific Island culture. So we had to stand up for the rest of our people and show them that we do have a culture that's very powerful, very much entrenched in environmental issues, conservation, the lahui. All these things we've had, our ancestors were doing this a long, long time ago. But unfortunately, over the years, we've been overwhelmed by Western culture. But in our day, in the old day, we did have a form of conservation and environmental care, ocean care, that we need to go back, relearn, and adapt it to this day and age. And that's what's happening now, right throughout the Pacific. And a lot of the Pacific Island leaders are actually sharing some of the progress they're making in reconnecting to the old way.
It is vital that traditional and local approaches be actively fostered, developed, and integrated into our ocean management systems.
They were the navigators of the past. You are the navigators of the future.
For us as the Pacific people, our takeaway from this is to hear what the other countries are doing wrong. Because sometimes we take for granted what we have in our environment. And then you see what's happening in all these other countries and how they're releasing so much carbon dioxide into the air that it's killing the ocean that we live in. They don't live in. So we have to make a noise. We have to let them know that we do have a concern, because if we don't show a concern or put our hands up or move as one united people, they're never going to hear about us at all. And our islands will just disappear as they are already. So this is a beautiful thing for Hawaii, a beautiful thing for the Pacific, that we're able to have the IUCN Congress here. You know, it's the first time it's ever been held in the United States, and they brought it here.